Okay, now this jumps ahead to the 6.6, the fundamental theorem of algebra. Okay, it's asking us for 4 things here. We're supposed to find the number of complex roots, the possible number of real and therefore imaginary roots, and then the list of the possible rational roots. Okay, so first one, number of complex. Okay, in this polynomial right here, how many complex zeros are there? There's 3. Remember, it's exactly equal to the degree. 3 equals 3. Okay, now when you're talking about the possible number, right, this is just the possible number of real and imaginary zeros. What we're basing that on is this. We know that the imaginary zeros will occur in pairs. You can only have an even number of imaginary zeros, and they must be less than 3 because there's only a 3 of total. So how many imaginary zeros are possible? Even numbers less than 3. 2 or 0. 1 is not an even number, right? 0 or 2. So you could have 3 real, which means now you can do the subtraction, right? Number of real. Right? If there's a total of 3 and there happens to be no imaginary, then how many real are there? There's got to be 3 then. If there's 3 complex and 2 imaginary, how many real are there? 1. Right? They have to add up to 3. And you know that these numbers here are even numbers. So the real is just what's left over. Okay. Now the last part of it is make your list of possible rational zeros. Remember, how do we find that list? The factors of -6 divided by the factors of 1. Right? So the possible rational zeros come from this list. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 6, divided by plus or minus 1. So what are they? The only thing we got in the denominator is a 1. Right? So the possible rational zeros are plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3, plus or minus 6. So there's 4 homework problems from this section, and that's what you're doing. You're doing number of complex, number of imaginary, number of real, possible rational zeros. You don't actually have to find any rational zeros. It does not ask you to do that. You're done once you've made all this up.